Hello and welcome to the Motoring News Zone, a show we take you for all the biggest stories in the world of cars right now. It's been a very bad week for General Motors as they have announced that they will be recalling 600,000 vehicles across their various brands, and they also expect to lose around $5 billion this year in 2025 due to the impact of tariffs. And on top of that as well, we also bring you the story that New York State is actively looking to shut down Tesla dealerships. We explain why in today's video, plus a whole lot more on the way as well. If you're watching on YouTube, skip to the timestamp in the video description to watch the story you are most interested in. So without further ado, let's dive in. Not good news for GM. They have recalled nearly 600,000 Cadillac, Chevrolet and GMC cars due to engine failure risks. Now, I brought you a story the other day going over GM and how their profits have become a bit unpredictable because of tariffs, and people are saying, well, the reason why their profits are so unpredictable right now, why they are struggling, is because their cars are not of good enough quality. And I think this really does scream at that, to be honest with you. 600,000 cars being recalled. That is a massive expense to General Motors. But let's have a look at this story, guys. Association Press here posting it on MSN. Full article on here. Shout out to Wyatt Grantham Phillips for breaking this story. General Motors is recalling nearly 600,000 vehicles across its Cadillac, Chevrolet and GMC brands in the United States due to potential manufacturing defects that can cause engine failures. The recall covers certain Cadillac Escalades, Escalades ESVs, Chevrolet Silverado 1500s, Suburbans and Tahoes, as well as the GMC Sierra 1500s, Yukon and Yukon XLs between 2021 and 2024. According to recall documents published by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration, these vehicles share a gas engine that may have connecting rod or crankshaft component problems due to supplier manufacturing or quality issues. This can lead to engine damage and potentially failure while driving, increasing crash risks. That is a horrible safety issue. Prior to failure, NHTSA documents warn impacted drivers may be alerted to these issues through loud knocking or banging noises. The check engine light turning on and off, the check engine light turning on and or other driving performance issues such as reduced propulsion. As a remedy, dealers will inspect affected vehicles and repair or replace the engine if necessary with newer components free of charge. Dealers' notifications began last week with owner letters being mailed out on June 9th. That's a while away. That's over a month away. In all, about 597,000 vehicles are covered by the recall, as per a notice dated April 24th, but the company estimates that just 3% have the defect. Let's do the maths on that. That is 18,000 nearly. That is a lot. That is a lot of vehicles that are being affected by that. Wow. When asked why notification wouldn't start until June 9th, GM maintained that it was common to require time to both confirm mailing lists for registered owners and ensure that dealers are prepared. The Detroit-based auto company added that it was continuing to increase engine production but felt confident about having sufficient supply to service this recall campaign, noting that it only expects a small percentage to need replacements. It's still about 18,000 though, as per their own official figures there. Drivers can also confirm if their specific vehicle is included in this recall and find out more information using the NHTSA site and or GM's recall lookup. The safety and satisfaction of our customers are of highest priorities for the entire GM team, and we are working to address this matter as quickly as possible, GM said in a statement to the Associated Press. An investigation by GM has found 28,102 complaints or incidents across the United States relating to engine failures of these vehicles between April 21 and February 25, including 14,332 reports that alleged loss of propulsion. NHTSA documents note. The probe also identified alleged reports of 12 crashes and 12 injuries, as well as 42 fires. Oh my goodness me. But noted that the cause were not always clear and that all specifically alleged injuries, for example, were minor, non-physical, and most were not crash-related. Yeah, sadly, given the form of GM right now, this is not really a surprise, but this is a massive job. It's not as simple as they're trying to make out. Replacing an engine in a car these days is very complicated. It is not just literally take the old one out, put the new one in. There is so much technology in there. These engines are so complicated compared to what they used to be. And especially given the problems that they are saying there. I mean, 18,000, that is a huge amount they're going to have to replace if their numbers are accurate. It could be more, it could be less. But it's a bit, I mean, I get that they need some time, but over a month when people are being injured by this, I mean, they're saying, oh, they're minor injuries, but still, they are being injured, allegedly. I have to say allegedly for legal reasons in this case, but allegedly they are being injured because of defects in these vehicles that they have caused. These are problems that have been inherent in these vehicles. So I have to admit, this stinks. I mean, it's good they're doing something about it now, but the fact that this has been going on, since 2021, so 4 years ago that this has been going on, and only now they're doing something about it, and they're recording 600,000 of them. That's a massive number. Yeah, I mean, yeah, I am rather gobsmacked, to be honest with you, at all that. But yeah, your thoughts in the comments below, guys. Like I said, I think you guys are probably going along the lines of this is not a surprise, really, but your thoughts about this GM's slide in terms of their quality, it's been something that's been going on for a long, long time, and this is a really big blow to them. It really, really is. And they've got a bit of an uncertain financial future right now as well. They've not, at the time of recording on Wednesday, they have not published their all their financial figures, I don't believe, or for all their forecasts as it should be for the first quarter of this year. So yeah, it's not great right now. We'll see what comes out of those accounts. The CEO of General Motors, Mary Barra, has said that tariffs placed on the automotive industry will cost the company up to $5 billion in 2025. GM estimate that they will lose between $4 and $5 billion in 2025 due to the tariffs placed on the automotive industry, and that is despite them being eased temporarily, it has been announced this week. Barra shared the estimates in a letter to shareholders, which was released today on Thursday. The letter and the earnings guidance for 2025 were delayed from their planned release on Tuesday when the company reported lower first quarter earnings and awaited tariff changes from the Trump administration, which of course has arrived since then. General Motors is the first major company to estimate in dollars how much Trump's sweeping tariffs will cost it. Many others have walked back earnings forecasts because of the ensuing economic uncertainty, such as Stellantis. The tariffs have unnerved not only global companies but also investors, nations, and everyday Americans alike. Major stock indexes closed out a volatile April on Wednesday, with new data showing that US gross domestic product unexpectedly shrank for the first time in 3 months in the 3 months at the start of the year as a recession fear is growing. The automotive industry has been a particularly central target for Trump's tariff efforts, with levies already in place on most imported automobiles and tariffs coming this Saturday on many of the imported parts used to build cars at American factories. While GM is not the dominant global auto player it once was, it is still the largest American automaker, with the US sales of the company at around 2.7 million cars and trucks in 2024. It has also been very profitable, posting record net income of nearly $12 billion in 2024, excluding special items. Barra's letter says that 1 million US workers depend on General Motors either as employees, suppliers, or dealers, with 50 US manufacturing plants and parts facilities in 19 states. But Barra's letter says the company now expects adjusted earnings before interest and taxes of between $10 billion and $12.5 billion this year, sharply lower than the $15 billion it earned on that basis last year, and less than the guidance that it originally gave in January before the tariffs were enacted. GM faces tariffs on several fronts. It builds cars and trucks in Mexico and Canada, producing nearly 1 million. It builds cars and trucks in Mexico and Canada, producing nearly 1 million. It produces trucks and cars in Mexico and Canada, producing nearly 1 million vehicles in those two countries last year, according to S&P Global Mobility. Most of those vehicles end up being exported to the United States. Therefore, they are now subject to tariffs. In addition, General Motors imported more than 400,000 vehicles from South Korea last year. All imported cars now face a 25% tariff, although the Canadian and Mexican tariffs can be reduced by credits for American and Canadian-made parts. In addition, all the 1.7 million cars and trucks GM built in the United States last year depended on important parts to some degree. According to an estimate from American University Kogod School of Business, GM's US-built vehicles have American parts making up an average of 54% of their total makeup. Starting this Saturday, GM could face 25% tariffs on many of those imported components. While the Trump administration's announced some partial offsets, GM could still face substantial costs. Nevertheless, Barra thanked Trump for the break on auto parts tariffs and raised hopes for further changes. She said, and I quote, "We look forward to maintaining our strong dialogue with the administration on trade and other policies as they continue to evolve. As you know, there are ongoing discussions with key trade partners, and as you know, there are ongoing discussions with key trade partners that also may have an impact as well." Now, the cynics will definitely point to the fact that, well, maybe they're blaming these losses on the fact that GM is really struggling in general. I'm always hearing from Americans in the comments that GM right now, in terms of their quality, is nowhere near what it used to be. They are really struggling. They just announced, actually, that they will be recalling up to 600,000 vehicles due to a known defect as well. So it's not great, really, from that point of view at the moment for GM. And some are calling for Mary Barra to resign as well. So, yeah, a lot of strong opinions out there. What is yours, guys? Let us know your thoughts in the comments below. If you guys are wanting to stay away from politics, I'm afraid this is not the video for you. But if it is, and you're interested in Teslas as well and the developments over in the United States, then this is very much the video for you. Because New York State have moved to shutter Tesla dealerships in a big blow to Elon Musk. Now, this has been broken by the Daily Beast here on MSN. Shout out to Jasmine Venet or Venet. I'm not sure how you pronounce that person's name. Hopefully I got it right with one of those two stabs in the dark there. But let's read out this story. Let's see what's happened, and I'll give my thoughts at the end of it as well, guys. So, lawmakers in New York State are moving to shut down Elon Musk's Tesla dealerships in yet another blow to the billionaire CEO. New York State Senator Patricia Fahey, or Fahy, not sure how you pronounce her name, and other lawmakers are fighting to remove a waiver that allows Tesla to operate 5 in-person dealerships in New York instead of forcing the company to sell their vehicles through dealer franchises, the New York Times reported on Sunday. No matter what we do, we've got to take this from Elon Musk, Fahy said in March when she first introduced the bill against Tesla. He's part of an effort to go backwards. She wants the company to relinquish its 5 licenses and instead distribute them to other EV manufacturers such as Rivian, Scout Motors, and Lucid. Fahy was a champion of electric vehicles companies like Tesla opening in-person dealerships in New York, saying that an increase in EV sales would help cut emissions in the state. She now joins a growing number of Democratic officials and legislators who have drastically changed their tune on Tesla following the 2025 election, when Musk joined forces with Trump. Fahy said that Musk is part of an administration that is killing all the grant funding for electric vehicle infrastructure, killing wind energy, killing anything that might address climate change. Why should we give them a monopoly? She asked regarding Tesla, adding that the bill was her making amends with previous support for the company. Musk responded to Fahy's efforts to shut his company dealerships down in a now deleted social media post in March, saying that it was improper for lawmakers to target a single person or company. The growing outrage against Musk and his Department of Government Efficiency, Doge, yes, it's actually called Doge, has ignited both national and international protest against the billionaire CEO's company. In the last few months, Tesla dealerships and cars have been vandalized or set on fire, its sales have dipped, and its profit dropped by 71% in the first 3 months of 2025. Fahey herself joined a protest in Colony, New York in early April to oppose Tesla's plans to open a 30,000 square foot showroom and charging area. The bottom line is Tesla has lost their right to promote these when they are part of an administration that wants to go backwards, Fahey said. Elon Musk was handed a privilege here. The bill is now in the hands of the Senate and Assembly Finance Committees and will be considered once a budget agreement is reached. A spokesperson for New York Governor Kathy Hochul said that if the bill passes both the legislature's chambers, she would review it. Now, I must admit, this does seem rather extreme of a measure, to say the least, to basically say, look, you can't sell or anything like that in New York State, but these other EV manufacturers, I mean, for example, Rivian are kind of owned by Amazon, so it's not like a small independent EV manufacturer that would be replacing Tesla if they were having to close up shop in New York. I've seen a few comments on the post as well, basically saying that it might be against something called the Sherman Act, which, you know, I'm not too up to date on my US laws and stuff like that, but yeah, a lot of people are not very happy about this. I must admit, it does seem a bit of an odd. It seems like a bit of a thing where it's like, well, we don't like Elon Musk now, so we are going to ban Teslas from being sold in the US just because the administration that he supports allegedly does not do many good things for the environment. So yeah, I must admit this seems a bit dodgy, as we would say over here in the UK. Not many people are happy about it, but hey, guys, get your opinions in the comments below. I want to hear what you have to say about this. Are you in New York? Do you think this would be beneficial if Tesla were forced out? I mean, again, it just seems to me a bit harsh, really. And the people that are actually, the thing is, right, if those 5 dealerships in New York State close down, right, is Elon Musk going to suffer? Well, yeah, a little bit. Not much, you know, he'll be fine. He's the richest man in the world, right? He's going to be all right. But if those dealerships close up shop, then average everyday people who are working in these dealerships are going to be affected by it. And if you're thinking further down the line as well, unfortunately, the people who are manufacturing these Teslas as well, you know, they might lose their jobs potentially because there's not as much demand, because they can't supply as many. You know, there's a big knock-on effect here, I think. So I must admit, this seems a bit extreme, personally. That's just my opinion, though. What's yours? Let us know it in the comment below. The strong rumours going around that Elon Musk is set to be ousted from his position at Tesla, or at least leave it voluntarily for a number of different factors, something that the board of Tesla have vehemently denied. But let's see why these rumours have sprung up. Obviously, Musk is a rather controversial figure right now in American politics and in the American automotive industry, which of course are very intertwined right now because of tariffs and all that stuff as well. So let's dive into what has been said here, guys. Tesla's chair, Robin Denholm, has rejected a Wall Street Journal report that the company board has begun a search process for a new CEO to replace Elon Musk. Now, for those that don't know, Elon Musk is the CEO of Tesla and is also on the board. And now this is one of the biggest reasons why people are speculating about his future, really, when it comes to this, because a lot of people think that this is a conflict of interest. And I can see why, because effectively the board, one of their main purposes is to oversee the CEO. Now, the board is also made up partly of Elon Musk, who is the CEO. So I can understand why people are definitely thinking that this is potentially a conflict of interest here, because if something has to go via a unanimous vote, it's like, oh, we have to oust the CEO, it needs to be a unanimous vote here. Turkeys don't vote for Christmas. Musk could just say, no, I'm not going to vote for that. I don't want to remove the CEO, even though he is the CEO. I'm definitely getting Palpatine vibes there from Star Wars. I am the Senate. I am the board. So I can see why this is a controversial kind of issue, really, at the moment. So the Wall Street Journal, reported on Wednesday that Tesla's board contacted executive placement firms in March to look for Musk's replacement, citing multiple unnamed sources. Denholm said in a post on Tesla's official X account that he claimed that these were absolutely false reports and that the board is highly confident in Musk's ability to continue executing on the exciting growth plan ahead. Now, things have not been going too great for Tesla in general. Sales are down, revenue is down. Their reputation is very much in the toilet at the moment, unfortunately, when it comes to just the quality of their cars. The Cybertruck has been a massive failure in terms of the sales. It's not hit any of the targets it was hoping to, and everybody and their mother is laughing at it right now. And to be honest with you, I don't blame them really for laughing at it, because for the sole purpose, really, it's not a truck. It's a Cybertruck, but it's not a truck, so it doesn't really appeal to anybody, in my opinion at least, and I know I'm not the only one really when it comes to that. Now, Musk obviously is a busy man. He's also heavily involved in the Department of Government Efficiency, Doge, of course, and that's taken up a lot of his time. That is why he might want to step away to focus on that. He might be too busy with his actual commitments to the board for Tesla to want to actually stay there. And like I said, Tesla's stock price and stuff is not doing very well at the moment, down 45% this year. It has recovered a little bit since, but overall, it has actually gone down quite a bit still. Sales and profit have gone down massively in the first quarter of 2025. Earnings have plummeted 71% overall. But weirdly, publicly, Musk has said that he's going to do the opposite of leaving Tesla. He's going to actually step away a bit more from the government side of things rather than actually step away from Tesla. So it'd definitely be a big U-turn if he ended up leaving Tesla. But it wouldn't be totally out of character either. Now, Dan Ives, who works for Wedbush Securities, a global head of technology research at financial services firm, has said that he doesn't expect Musk to actually leave anytime soon. Things have actually changed since this rumor did spring up. He said, and I quote, "This situation with Musk at Doge was reaching a breaking point, but we believe that cooler heads have now prevailed and that the board is now not actively looking to replace Musk as CEO, and this code red situation is now in the rear view mirror." End quote. President Trump, of course, has had his say on this. Why wouldn't he? Of course, he's always wanting to get involved in this sort of thing. He basically said that even though Musk's time as a government representative like this is coming to an end, he does expect him to stick around in the White House still. That doesn't really surprise anybody. President Trump said this on Musk. He said, "You have been treated unfairly, but the vast majority of people in this country really respect and appreciate you. And this whole room can say that very strongly. You have been a tremendous help. You're invited to stay as long as you want. At some point, I guess, he wants to get back home to his cars." End quote. Musk responded at the time by saying, "Well, Mr. President, you know they say I wear a lot of hats," while he was wearing 2 hats at that time. That's where the joke came from. Very funny, Elon. And then we got to talk about the protests as well. There's been a lot of protests going around for Tesla at the moment. There's been a lot of protests going around with Tesla, and not surprisingly, really, to be honest with you. And again, he might just want to step away from that. So it really don't know. We really don't know what's going to happen with Musk. Some of the insiders, some of the people who claim to be knowing, are now saying that he is going to stay on as Tesla's CEO and a board member. But I mean, can it continue like this? I mean, it's his company. He can do what he wants pretty much at this point. He is on the board as well, so he's effectively, like I said, it is an interesting conflict of interest, an interesting potential conflict of interest. But what's your take on it, guys? I want to hear what you have to say in the comments below. I found this really cool truck, a fully customizable EV truck that only cost $20,000. It's incredible what they've managed to do with this. I'm going to walk you through this, guys. I was on Car Buzz here on MSN, so shout out to Brett T. Evans for breaking this story. An incredible car, really. I'm just going to have a look at what is actually going on with this, what's been said about it, and what you can customize, because pretty much anything, as it turns out. So if you're looking for something that's rather bespoke, something that's unique to you, I think this is a good bet to go with. But what is it? I'll show you here. The $20,000 Slate EV only debuted last night, but its configurator is already live to help the company boast about its near infinite color choices, individual accessories, and body styles. Slate's whole shtick is offering one basic single cab pickup specification, then allowing its customers to select individual options, even the available SUV hardtop, rear seats, and airbags can be installed by enterprising DIYers to save money. Slate launched its configurator at the same time as the EV's debut last night, and although there are some usability kinks, it's still fun to tinker with the cheap and cheerful truck that's going to undercut other people's electric pickups, such as the Ford F-150 Lightning, by half or more. Start with a truck or SUV and then ditch the doors. According to the company, all Slate's EVs will start life as single cab trucks with a grey bodywork. However, if the pickup's new owner decides they'd rather have some passenger hauling capabilities, it's possible to add squared off or slant back SUV rooflines, complete with a roll cage and 3-seat bench seat. The kit even comes with curtain airbags, and Slate says it can be installed by either a DIYer or a professional. There's a special add-on kit that makes the roof removable just like an old K5 Blazer or second gen Bronco, and for maximum open air fun, the doors come off as well, both for the pickup truck and the SUV, and you can see a little image of it there as well. That's kind of what you start with, no doors on it. It looks very odd, but you do add those things as you go through the whole process. Slate also says that the roof and passenger kits can be after purchase, meaning the little truck can become a little family hauler if the owner needs it to. That means that no more car shopping just because your personal priorities change. When it comes to switching from carting around ATVs to carting around strollers, you can just add the Slate seating kit elsewhere to your pickup truck. So it's adaptable. That's really cool. You know, I mean, obviously you can do that with cars anyway, but it's built in with that kind of thing in mind. And there's more details here on the article, guys. Shout out to these guys, of course, for covering that. But yeah, more colours than the rainbow, attachment points and comfort features you can put in everything is actually accessible. And a lot of people say, well, what about the price? What is it actually going to cost? Well, the base model version does cost $20,000. In terms of actually like the add-ons and stuff like that, the customization points, it doesn't say how much this is actually going to cost, but most people are estimating it's going to cost, even if you have every single bell and whistle, the most expensive version of what you can possibly create, it'll still be under $30,000, which is significantly less than, of course, actual factory models, which is significantly less than the major manufacturers like Ford and what Chevrolet and all those guys can actually offer. So, hey, this is a great EV truck. I mean, of course, I do a lot of stuff about Cybertrucks, been talking about them, and I see you guys in the comments, and I absolutely agree with you. It is not a truck. It is not a pickup truck. That's probably its biggest problem, really. This does look like a pickup truck. This is actually what you'd really want from that. And yeah. You know, so looks all good to me, guys. What do you think? Have you played around with the little configurator there? Let us know your thoughts about it in the comments below. Will you be trying it out? Are you tempted to try it out? And yeah, like, share, comment, subscribe if you want to see more like this, and have a fantastic day wherever you are in the world today.